Marion Jones was a former professional world champion track and field athlete. She was the first woman to win 5 track and field medals at a single Olympic game. She helped give hope to other women athletes, showing them that anything is possible if you work hard for it. The events that she was known for were the 100 meters, 200 meters, and long jump. She was known as the fastest woman on earth. During her time, Marion Jones was an important role model in women in sports because she held down many world records in her events, and many people looked up to her. She wanted to be a role model for all girls in sports because she knows that when you want something, you go get it. She also showed major improvements because of how hard she worked to get where she was at. Marion Jones was a very persistent, dedicated, and she was basically unstoppable until in the year 2007, shock arose across the track and field world when she was tested positive for having a performance enhancement drug in her system, in which she had to return all of her medals, become disqualified from her events, and she was sentenced to 6 months in jail. The type of impact that Marion Jones had on women in sports blew everyone's mind because for years she denied those accusations. She had a lot of fans that looked up to her and who were devastated when they found out she was lying the whole time. At one point, Marion Jones was on top of the world until all of her lies brought her back to reality. And to this day, Marion Jones is trying to put the past behind her and move forward as best as she can.
Natalie Randolph was born on May 1980 in Washington, D.C. She graduated from the University of Virginia in 2002 with a BA in Environmental Science, and she earned a Master in May of 2003. Natalie passionate about football. When she was a kid, her father was a football coach. She learned the football technique from her father. In graduate school, she didn't have time to play football. So after she graduated, she found a job in a high school and worked as a biology teacher. At that time, she played football more often. After a while, she became professional football, and the head football coach of the team asked her to help out with boys' team at the school. After a while, she requested to be a coach in that team, and in 2010, Natalie Randolph made history. She was being in all news because she became the only female football coach in that street. I chose Natalie Randolph through all of the coaches because I like her beliefs. She believes when people passionate about a thing, they should go for it and never give up. Even they might have many challenges. Natalie went through a lot of challenges to be a football coach, but her motivation won all problem, and eventually she could become coach of a boy football team at first time. She believes having a goal is nothing to do with gender, and she said in one of her interviews, being female has nothing to do with it. Even she is soft-spoken, she knows how to teach, and she shows us masculine quality is nothing to do with being a coach. She also believes education should be a priority in a player's life. She believes football is not what people can live their life. Students should not separate classes and feel. Getting A in the class is very important to her than being a good player in football.
Caroline Sunderland is a research coordinator for the Sport, Health, and Performance Enhancement Research Group at Nottingham Trent University. She is the program leader for the MRES Sport Science course and module leader for Environmental Sports Physiology at undergraduate level and Sport Research Methods and Applied Performance Analysis at master's level. Her interests of study include high-intensity intermittent exercise by investigating the physiological demands of team sports and how performance may be improved through training or nutritional interventions, exercise in extreme environments by evaluating the effects of exercising in the heat and investigating acclimation regimens and cooling strategies to optimize performance, and appetite by investigating the mechanisms for controlling appetite and energy intake. One of her most popular research studies was the effects of cooling the neck region during exercise. 8 endurance-trained, non-acclimated men around the age of 26 completed 4 running tests at approximately 70% VO2 max. For 2 out of the 4 trials, she used a cooling collar on the participants. She found out that time to volitional exhaustion was increased by about 13% when using the cooling collar. Participants terminated exercise at identical levels of perceived exertion, thermal sensation, and feeling scale, but the cooling collar enabled participants to tolerate higher rectal temperatures and heart rates at the point of termination. She concluded that cooling the neck increased the time taken to reach volitional exhaustion by dampening the perceived levels of thermal strain.
Sue Falsoon recently added her name to the list of boundary breakers for women in sports. In 2011, she became the head athletic trainer and physical therapist for the Los Angeles Dodgers, making her not only the first female head athletic trainer in Major League Baseball history, but of all the major sports. She received her physical therapy degree from Damon College in her hometown of Buffalo, New York. She continued her education by earning a master's degree in human movement science with a concentration in sports medicine from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She has presented at both state and national level conferences in areas focusing on pillar strength, integration of physical therapy and performance training, and comprehensive kinetic chain assessment and rehabilitation. Being named the first female head athletic trainer in all of the major sports is of huge importance. It not only opens up the possibilities for other women to achieve such a position in the male-dominated world of professional sports, but it inspires a whole new generation of young girls that see her on TV or at the ballpark working with some of the best athletes in the world. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, Sue was asked to reflect on her accomplishments. She said, "From day to day, I don't really think about it, but every once in a while it hits me. The other day at a game, someone was calling my name. I just assumed it was a friend. But it was a fan whose daughter wants to get into sports medicine. He said she has 2 Dodger pictures in her room, one of Andre Ethier and one of me. That really hit home. Sometimes I get letters from girls who want to do this, so that's always really special. I want other women to have this opportunity."
You've turned a big corner in a business sense, and also you've got a player who's pretty dominant out here. That doesn't hurt either.
You know, we've made a lot of progress. I guess I'm the type A personality that thinks of all the things we still should have done or be doing. So I'm excited about where we've come. I'm excited about the progress we've made. I think a lot of people were kind of betting against us, and when we came out with 6 new purses and raised the opportunity, and our viewership was up 40%, I think that all kind of caught people by surprise. But if you really step back and think about what's really going on, it's not that hard to fathom. And we got a player from the other side of the world teaching all the rest of us what it takes to be number one. The chase pack, I call them the chase pack, of young, great female golfers has never been better. I mean, Suzanne Pedersen, Na-Young Choi, Paula Creamer, Brittany Lincecum, Stacey Lewis, back to the Michelle Wees and G.A. Shins. I mean, when you start going through that list, Aimi Azadas, not only do you have incredible 20-somethings, you have them from everywhere. You have them from Japan and Australia and America, and I think that's an exciting time for the game. It's 15 years ago, if you and I would have had this conversation, neither one of us would have believed it was doable, and here we are, not only doable, but it's playing out. And so I think what's going on inside the ropes has made what we've been doing outside the ropes a lot easier.
When Mike Wan was hired as the 8th LPGA commissioner at the end of 2009, nobody knew who he was. Wan assumed the leadership role at the LPGA with an eye toward enhancing business relationships, increasing exposure for the players, and maximizing the LPGA experience for fans. His force of personality and business acumen is quietly making a profound impact in the women's game. Since Wan took the position, there are more tournaments, better TV exposure, and more symbiotic relationships with sponsors. When he came in, almost all of the tournaments were on tape delay, which is no way to establish a viewership. There is much more live TV now, on the Golf Channel, ESPN, and NBC, and viewership is up to 70% in North America. In the future, Juan wants 30 to 32 LPGA events, and his work won't be done when he does reach 30. After he gets to 30 to 32 events, his focus will shift to growing TV coverage to make sure that 32 events are even more impactful and important, rather than just to keep adding weeks to the schedule.